I appreciate you guys being here for this live broadcast. So I wanted to talk for a second about trading education. This is something that I've been thinking about a lot and over the years in general. I mean, if you go back and you look at some of the videos that I've posted 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I've been saying the same thing year after year after year. If you want to learn how to trade, you're not going to learn it. You don't learn it in high school. You don't learn it in college. You have to learn it by doing. This is one of these funny kind of careers where you might like to think that you can learn by, I don't know, enrolling in a college program on the topic, but I've never heard of one that exists. And so for me, when I was getting started, I was left with being in a really difficult situation where I had a really hard time figuring out the best way to learn, because day trading is such a niche topic that it's not something that, like, I didn't know anyone who was a trader. I didn't know someone who I was like, can I come over to your house every day and can you show me what you're doing? Can I learn from you? So I was in a situation where I really had to just figure it out on my own. So what I want to talk about today is the truth about trading education. And I want to share with you what I think is a major flaw in our educational system in general. And I want to share with you the way I would learn to trade if I was going to start over today. Also, by the way, I put a link down in the description for my TED Talk that I hosted on April 19th of this year. So if you haven't already watched that, you can go check it out. There's a link and you can restream, or you can watch the broadcast of that talk, and you could just watch it right now, or after this video. Watch it tomorrow, tonight, whatever it is. Watch it later. But I encourage you to check that out, because during that talk, I shared with you, I wasn't really talking about the educational system for traders. I was really talking about my process of learning how to trade, which was kind of a unique process, just because of the fact that I ended up trying to reinvent the wheel. So just for instance, one of the things that I find really interesting is the fact that, hang on, let me just move this over here. One of the things that I find really interesting, you think about like someone who wants to open like a coffee shop or something like that. I'm sure you could go to school to learn about how to open a coffee shop, and hey, I have a question for you. Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up?
A conditioner who makes soap and conditioner.
You want to be a conditioner who makes soap and conditioner?
Do your video.
Yeah, I'm doing my video. Okay, you go. You go over there. Okay, go get your shoes on. So, hang on. I'll be right back, bud. So, the case in point right there. He wants to be a conditioner who makes soap and conditioner. So, this is exactly what I'm talking about. If you want to learn how to make soap and conditioner, where do you go? Is that something you learn by going to college? I feel like this whole system is broken because so many people, and me included, the college system failed me completely. I went to college, and the reason it failed me was because I went to college with absolutely no plan of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be, and how I was going to convert that huge amount of student loan debt, that huge cost of education, how I was going to convert that into an actual career. There was absolutely, and listen, the schools don't care. They're happy to have you come in, you pay the tuition for the school, and there's absolutely no guarantee at the end of your 4-year degree, after $80,000, $100,000, $150,000 of debt, that you're gonna have anything that actually qualifies you to do anything at all. A 4-year degree in liberal arts is nothing. What does that give you? It doesn't qualify you for anything. So for my son, who wants to get into soap and conditioner, this is what I would tell him to do. I would say that he should find a brand of soap and conditioner that he loves, that he really, really loves, and he should try to get an internship working there. Now, if he's really entrepreneurial, what he should do is he should try to find someone who makes soap and conditioner, maybe locally, maybe down in the New York City or the Boston area, and he should try to get an internship working for that person and learn everything that they're willing to teach him about how you make soap and conditioner, right? That's, to me, that's taking an idea of, this is something I'm really passionate about, and if I want to make this happen, I mean, honestly, if he grows up and he still wants to do soap and conditioner, I don't see that as being a career where I would say you should really go to college. I think that that's the type of career where you should do an internship, you should learn as much as possible, and then you can start to look at opening your own, opening your own business, soap and conditioner, right? That's how I kind of approach it. And so, my experience in the educational system, I had this educational experience as a trader, as a trading instructor. And this is one of the things that I find to be really interesting. If you went to college and, they have a couple classes on active trading or something, which I've never even heard of, but let's say they do, you know who they're going to be taught by? They're going to be taught by a professor who's probably taken one or two trades in their entire life. And the value of learning from someone who is in the trenches every single day doing it. Every single day, I'm out there actually trading. So when I'm teaching, I'm speaking from my experience. That to me feels so much more valuable than just learning theory, the theory of the market. I mean, listen, I'm not someone who got a degree in finance. I didn't get, an MBA. I didn't have that traditional educational experience. And yet I'm sitting here trading on the markets. And I'm really grateful, because if you think 50 years ago, 75 years ago, the only way I could have been trading on the markets is most likely if I went to a business school and or was working down on Wall Street. People that got good jobs at the funds and the hedge funds and the banks, years ago, those were people that went to really good colleges. And then they got recruited by the people, the VPs or, the recruiting people at that firm who were all buddy-buddy with the, placement people at Harvard and at Cornell and at Columbia and this and that. And that was the path. If you wanted to become a professional, if you wanted to become anything other than a tradesman or woman, or like a factory worker or a nurse or a teacher, but even those two, you still had to go to school. So, but if you really wanted to become anything other than tradesman or factory worker, you had to go through this college system, right? You had to go through college. You had to accelerate through the program. You had to go to the best college. And then that was your path in the door at those companies. That system is broken. That's not how it works today. So where was I at the end of my 4-year degree? At the end of my 4-year degree, I had a 4-year degree in liberal arts that qualified me for nothing. I mean, it's funny because, starting salaries, starting positions are like, $20, $25 an hour for someone with a bachelor's degree. I mean, it to me feels so broken that someone would spend that amount of money. And it's broken on a systemic level because of the easy availability of money for student loans. It's big business. These colleges, they're big business. But when you graduate from those colleges, there's absolutely no guarantee that you're going to get any job whatsoever, right? So you're out of pocket a tremendous amount of money. You go into the workplace and you realize that you really don't know anything. And so my whole thing from when I was going to school, I went to a bit of a different school that really focused on internships. So my first internship that I did was in middle school, and I did an internship at a sole proprietor type of business, and it was a woman who was a web designer. And so I went to her house and I learned how to do HTML. I learned how to use do graphic design and stuff like that, how to build a website. She showed me how to use some different software like Dreamweaver and stuff like that so you could build these websites. And so I learned by doing. And so my first business, the first business that I ever created was in high school. I incorporated, I got an EIN, and it was a web design business. Now, the thing that's, I'm like the least creative. I'm like not creative at all. And I'm ashamed to say this because I'm like so not creative. So I'm so bad at coming up with names. I'm like business names, ideas, things like that. But just like my son who wants to do soap and conditioner, you don't have to be the person who's coming up with the next brilliant idea to find success. In fact, you can absolutely duplicate what someone else is doing. Soap and conditioner, coffee shops, these are well established business models, right? You can go into that business and you can get started today and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to do it a little bit better or maybe do something a little different than the person before you. And that's it. And on the education side of things, I'm such a big advocate of this internship model of learning by doing, of trying to get as close as possible to someone who's actually doing it. So this is where I have a real problem with a lot of trading educators, because a lot of trading educators out there, they're not actually profitable traders. And I think that that's a problem. While it's true that you don't have to be a profitable trader to teach the general mechanics of the market or to teach a general theory of the market. And probably a lot of professors at college that teach certain topics may not be actually doing, for a living that topic that they're teaching. Okay, fair enough. But when it comes to trading, and I really believe this, more and more, you want to learn from someone who's in the trenches doing it, right? And that's what I am. And I'm not, listen, learn from whoever you want, learn from someone else, but learn from someone who's in the trenches, learn from someone who's actually doing it every single day. That's what you need. Because when you try to learn from someone who's not proven profitable, to me, there's this huge question mark of, am I wasting all my time? So like when I was interning for this woman who was doing web design, she had some really great clients. She was, taking on projects. Her company was making money and the school vetted her. So it was like, this was a good person for, a student who's aspiring to get into web design and web development to work with, right? So on the trading side, one of the things that's been so important to me has been communicating to you how I perform, how I trade. And I think that a misconception there is that I'm doing that to brag. I'm doing that to like get your accolades. Oh my God, he makes so much money. And I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it and like posting my broker statements, posting those on the website. I do that because I think it's so important that the person that's out here telling you he's willing to teach you, that that he's actually credible, that he's qualified, that the strategy that he's teaching every day, that he's actually trading it himself. And because we've heard about this, we've heard about people who are out there teaching a strategy and then, they get exposed that they were never actually profitable. And that's a major flaw. That's a major problem. And especially with TikTok and with COVID and everything that's happened in the last 2 years, it's super easy for someone to go on YouTube or go on, whatever, Facebook or something like that and put a landing page for an educational, here's my learn how to trade. It's $50, it's $100, it's $5,000, whatever it is. And just like that, you could start selling a class. And so with so many people out there selling education, I think it's harder and harder to figure out who's legitimate, who's real. And I think, so one of the challenges for me is that while it's important for me to communicate how well I do, that's not intended for you to think that that's a realistic expectation of you. Now, if I was going to go learn from a tennis pro, I want to learn from a tennis pro who's competed at, at a high level, right? Wouldn't you? But does that mean that I think that I should have a reasonable expectation that I'm also going to go to, state finals or nationals or what, I don't know, whatever it is in tennis, right? So there's sometimes a little bit of a disconnect between what I think that I am putting out there to say, this is real. This is what I've done. I want you to know that the person you're learning from is credible and is qualified. And someone out there saying, oh, he turned whatever into whatever, therefore I should do the same thing. Because that's an unrealistic expectation. If my son wants to go do an internship, with a conditioner, I would try to tell him, I would be like, set your expectations. This is your time to learn as much as you can from someone who knows a lot about this business that you're really interested in. Soak it all up. But you're not going to go out there overnight and be able to replicate their business and do as well or better than them. You're not going to do a fraction of as well as them. It's going to take you a long time. No one has ever been successful at anything, whether it's trading, running a shampoo and conditioner business, a coffee shop, without working really hard. And that's the truth. There are no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. At the same time, if you're thinking about spending all that time and energy to open a coffee shop or to open a shampoo and conditioner store or whatever it is, or to be a trader, doesn't it make sense to equip yourself with as much knowledge as you can? And don't you have to be careful that you vet who you're learning from? Because I'm sure you could go on YouTube right now or on Google or something and be like, how to make shampoo or how to make soap. And next thing you know, you've just made like a highly explosive, this chemical mixer of some type. Or how to run a coffee shop, and you get like Joe Schmo telling you, well, coffee shops these days, whatever, they should be this way and that way. And it's like, okay, that's one person's opinion. How valid, how credible is that person? And take it for what it is. It's one person's opinion. So, you should do the same thing with trading, and you should do it with me. You might say, okay, well, this opinion, and that's an interesting opinion. I don't know if it's really, his strategy is really the right fit for me. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I think one of the really big problems here is just the fact, and I just realized this broadcast, I have my computer here. I said it's unlisted, so we've got like a tiny group of people that are streaming right now because the broadcast is unlisted instead of public. So I'm going to change the setting to public. And to those of you guys who are tuned in, I want to thank you for tuning in. And since it's a really small group of us right now, throw me some questions and let me give you some answers. Let's see what I can give you here. Let's see. So I got to just change the setting on this from private to public. There we go. So, hey, Leon, on the replay of my TED Talk, we're actually putting that up on, it's getting uploaded to a platform where you can pause it and then you can watch it later. So when we first put it out, so I did the TED Talk and then immediately we went out and we were like, okay, we've got to change the platform it's on, because it was a long talk and it was a really good one, but people wanted to be able to pause it. And when we first released it, we didn't realize that you couldn't pause it. So that is getting updated, so you'll be able to go ahead and pause it and resume and stuff like that. Sorry about that. By the time most of you guys are watching this, you should be in fine shape to be able to watch it as normal, pausing and resuming later. All right, so there we go. So now we should see a bunch of folks come onto this broadcast, The Truth About Trading Education. And, listen, I think you guys know that I put it all out there. I'm just telling you like it is. I get that there's people that have strong opinions. There's people out there who say trading educators, the trading education is a completely broken, flawed concept. You should just learn on your own. You should figure it out yourself. If you want to learn how to trade, go and do it yourself. Don't ever pay someone for that education. Anyone out there that's such trading their own money or something. Is that because there's so many educators out there who've been exposed with real money, it's natural that a lot of people have skepticism around them. And that's why it's been so important for me to go above and beyond by saying, this is where, yeah, I turned the Wi-Fi on and off again. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Thanks. Hey, Jorge, thanks. Good to see you. So for those just getting tuned in, thank you guys for being here. You know, this was something that I was thinking about, and I asked my son at the beginning of the video, I asked him what he wants to be when he grows up, and he says he wants to be a conditioner who makes soap and conditioner. And I'm super proud of him. I think that that's awesome. And I want to encourage him, what I'm going to encourage him to do. I have someone in mind already where we can go and we can watch her make her soap and well, she doesn't really, well, she makes some conditioner. Anyway, she makes soap and stuff like that. It's like artisanal. And because I was like, that's the way to learn. You know, I've got to get him into getting as close as possible to someone who knows all about it. And so, you know, in this particular instance, I know someone who's pretty good. Now, it's possible that he's not going to like the scents that she makes, right? It's totally possible that he'll be like, no, this isn't my thing. And that's fine, but this is the way to do it. I want to encourage him to just get as close as he can to someone who really knows about it. And I think that that's the flaw with our educational system today, is that, you know, people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on college degrees and they have absolutely no business plan. So they're able to take $100,000 in student loans, $200,000, $300,000 in student loans, sometimes with absolutely no business plan. That should not be allowed. I mean, I don't want to say like, people should be able to do whatever they want, but I feel like that's not smart. And yet it's what's encouraged. Why is that encouraged? Why is it encouraged to take that kind of money, that kind of risk? Because this is what happens. You take that kind of risk, and then you get out of college, and I know so many people who've been in the situation, they get out of college, and now they're sitting there with $100,000 in debt. So what do they need to do? They need to get a job fast. So who's at the advantage there? The people coming out of college or the employers? It's the employers. And so they employ these college people. They've got a 4-year degree. They pay them as little as they possibly can. Those kids are a dime a dozen. And because they're now, this is like them getting trapped right away, because now they've got to pay their student loans. They've got to start making these payments. So they need that job. And they might find that it makes them miserable. And because they didn't plan, you know, how does this actually translate to something? You know, maybe they end up getting a job working at a doctor's office, at the reception desk, or, you know, medical billing or something like that. And it's like they're stuck inside this stupid office day after day after day. And then when they finally, you know, get a paycheck and they have an extra, you know, a couple $1,000, what do? They go and they buy a, you know, $2,000 Gucci handbag, and it makes them feel a little bit better, and they're like, oh, that's good, finally I'm starting to make it. And then, but it just traps them in this cycle of a job they don't like, a routine they don't like, but this debt that keeps them working and working and working. And it's such a broken system. I wish, you know, for me, so like my dad went to college and he graduated in 1969. And so, you know, he was born in 1945. So in 1945, 1955, 1965, you know, he went to college. His brother went to college. Their parents said, you have to go to college. The only way you're ever going to get a good job, unless you want to work at, you know, a factory making boots in New Hampshire or something like that, the only way that you're going to actually get a good job is by going to college. And at that time, there was just such a different balance between the employer and the employee. The system just, it got completely disrupted by, I would say right now, the internet. You guys have this incredible opportunity that, I mean, it just is like just a one generation before people didn't have. So, you know, and it's not just with trading. I mean, yes, you can trade, and that's just one component of, that's just one of the things that the power of this sort of digital economy with the internet has enabled. You know, the ability that you could trade from anywhere in the world. And the cool thing about trading is that your technology is only getting better, accessibility to the market's only getting better, software is getting better. Trading is only becoming more popular as access to the market is getting easier and easier and easier. Commissions have gone to zero with a lot of brokers. So like, you know, it's become really popular, but it's not just that. It's, you know, let's talk about the ease at which someone can create their own business, turn a passion into a business. And that's what I did. That's what I did with trading. So when I got started trading, and this was more than 10 years ago, when I got started trading, it took a little while. I was kind of, trying to figure it out. And this was my experience. Let's see if I can find a little chalk. My experience when I started trading, let's see. So let me show you. This was my experience. Let me flip this camera. So when I started trading, I had a little bit of beginner's luck. I went up like this, a little bit of beginner's luck. And then I started losing money. How many of you guys have been there, losing money? All right, so this was like 24 months in. And then I started going sideways. And here's the problem. So many people drop out when they're in this sideways period because they're like, I've been doing it for this long and I haven't made money. I'm not making money. I'm still net negative. This isn't working. But this is such a critical phase because what you're doing here is you're proving that you can tread water. You make one step forward, one step back, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. And then what started happening for me was I started climbing. I would still have losses, but they're a little fewer and a little further between. And then what ended up happening to me is in one day I lost 25 grand. So I went back to that. And then from that point, I said, okay, listen, this is what you just did. Go back to right here and do that again. And I did. I went back to there. And so then zoomed out, my learning curve was like, a little bit of beginner's luck, losing, a bit of sideways, and then this process here, and it's just continued up. But most traders, we know the statistics, most don't make it to here, right? Most blow out in this area or they blow out in this area, and they don't even make it to the point where they can start actually turning the corner. And it's for a lot of reasons. I mean, it's for the reason of, you've been at this for this amount of time, you're not making money. It's like, I can't keep fighting. This is too frustrating. But the amazing thing for me is just the fact that, you can do this from anywhere in the world. And so for me, I got started, I got into the market, I had a little beginner's luck, and then I started losing money. And what I decided to do was, so at the beginning of this broadcast, I was talking about how my first job was my first job was I was a paper boy, newspapers, door to door. So that was my first job. But I did this internship when I was in school, and it was for a graphic design, web developer. And so I had always been, the first website I ever made was in the late 90s. I had been just always into making websites, building websites. So in 2012, I think it was end of 2012, that's when I created the Day Trade Warrior blog. And I started just one of the things that I was struggling with was I had all these ideas about trading, and I had all these screenshots I was taking of chart patterns and technical indicators and this and that, but I was having a hard time organizing them. And so what I decided to do, I was like, you know what? I need to organize this. Let me get the chalk out again. I was like, I need to organize this. And so what I decided to do is create this WordPress page. So I created this WordPress page, and I'd create a blog, on bull flags, whatever. And then I would have all these pictures of bull flags, picture after picture after picture. And this blog would just be my kind of archive. It was like I was building a little bit of my own library of these different setups, what was working, what wasn't working, so on and so forth. So about a year later, I was getting a lot of traffic on the website, and I started adding some YouTube videos. So I have YouTube videos from almost 10 years ago now. I mean, these videos are forever ago. And so I started adding some YouTube videos, and I started adding on the website, I was getting traffic, and I was like, okay, well, let me add some affiliate links. I added some affiliate links, just like a lot of people do now with, Amazon and things like that. So there were trading tools I was using, different charting platforms and things like that, different brokers I was using. I was like, okay, I'll add an affiliate link. And so what I was able to do through the power of the internet was I was able to help extend my learning curve as a trader. So creating this blog and creating all this really cool content around trading and the strategies and the setups, for me, it was a way of organizing my thoughts. But as it turned out, there were a lot of other people that were interested in the same topic and were checking it out. And I developed this community, just organic community, and I didn't expect it, but it's what happened. And so the internet, because I was so passionate about trading, spending 3 hours, 4 hours at night writing this blog post or taking all these screenshots and uploading them to the website, this was fun. It didn't feel like work. I loved doing it. And so I ended up creating all of this really awesome content and this sort of side hustle that was within the same space, right? Within the same sector, within the same passion, sort of started to produce a little bit of income. And that extended my learning curve. Because you guys know, when I was getting started, I got to a situation where I was really fortunate that I had gotten some money from my father. I was very unfortunate that he passed away when I was quite young. I felt quite young at the time. This is more than 15 years ago that he passed away. And so when he passed away, he left $100,000 to me and another $100,000 to my sister. But I didn't get the money until she turned 21. I'm older than her. So when I got that money, I said, I'm going to try to use this money and actively invest it. I'm going to try to become an investor. And not to get into my whole story, because I actually talked about a good amount of that in the TED Talk. But in any case, I ended up digging myself a hole. I ended up giving back or losing the majority of that money down to just $25,000. So that $25,000 I had left, I had taken out of the account that I got from him and I put it into my trading account. And then, because I didn't want to take that money out to pay bills, I had separately accumulated like $30,000 in credit card debt. So I really walked myself right back up to the edge. And so I was fortunate that I was able to have that money. It gave me that learning curve. And then by creating the blog, even the $150, $200 a month, that sort of helped just stretch my learning curve a little bit longer. And the ability to side hustle like that. That's the stuff that if you are really ambitious, those are the actions that you should be taking, right? If you're really ambitious about your hobby, whatever it is, your passion, if it's trading, fine. If it's something else, then it's something else. But finding, for some of you, trading is a side hustle so you can focus more on the hobby that you really love, whatever that might be. And that's fine too. I mean, it's sometimes you have this side hustle that you do so you can put more into your hobby. But I want you to think about, that passion and think about how fortunate you are in this economy today with the connectability to the internet, that from your phone, you could start creating these blogs, you could start creating these YouTube videos, you could start doing these affiliate links, you could start selling stuff on eBay, on Craigslist, on Facebook Marketplace. I mean, it's just so incredible how the internet can allow you to convert physical things into money. And also it can convert your knowledge into money through the content you put out and, YouTube and everything else. I mean, I don't monetize my YouTube channel. I have thought about it. If I monetize my YouTube channel, I'd probably make an extra $25,000 a month or something, maybe more. So I think I could make some decent money monetizing YouTube channel. I haven't done it yet. I was considering doing it last year because there was this update on the YouTube side where they said that they would, it was like all YouTube content creators had to agree that YouTube could start advertising on your channel. And I was like, what? So I've always opted for no ads on my channel, but now they're just going to put ads on anyways. Well, if they're going to do that, then yeah, I guess I want to make sure I'm getting the money and not them. But nothing has come of that. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what that was. That was just like an update and everyone kind of was like, what's this about? And then I don't know, nothing's really happened. So I'm not really sure what the deal is there. But, in any case, the real topic on this video was, the truth about trading educators. And some people are going to be like, this is the pot calling the kettle black or whatever. Like, you're a trading educator, you can't comment on this. But, I'm going to throw my 2 cents out there, which is that there's a lot of trading educators that give all trading educators a bad name. And I think that in general, some trading educators are held to a standard that's not really realistic compared to other educational opportunities that people engage in, whether it's going to college and there's no guarantee when you go to college, or it's learning, some trade, or some going to a trade school. There's no guarantee you're going to get a job. So, there's obviously got to be some degree of personal accountability on both sides. And on the educator side, I think, my job for accountability has always been to put out and put it on the table the real deal of how much money I make. So that I'm not lying. And the reason I do that is because we've seen people out there who have been exposed for lying. And that sucks. That really sucks. If you're learning from someone and you thought they were a millionaire trader, and then you find out that that was all a lie, that those times they said they made money, that actually they were losing money, like all of a sudden now, how can you possibly, like, what are you supposed to think? That then calls into question their entire strategy. And you don't have that with me. What you have with me is I'm out here telling you, like it is, I'm telling you that trading is risky. And I'm not out there with the Lamborghinis, with the girls and the private jets and all that stuff. There's a lot of people out there doing that because it catches people's attention. And I think all of that, I don't like that stuff. I'm not that kind of person. I've never been that kind of person. But, where I've had the problem clearly is that I've shown how much money I've made. I've shown a lot of gains, some crazy gains. And so this is sort of the challenge, where it's my job just to tell you, listen, yes, these are my gains, and you need to understand that you shouldn't expect to make the same as me. Haven't I told you guys that all along? I've told you, trading is risky. Take it slow. My results are not typical. Does that sound familiar? I'm not telling you guys what you want to hear. I'm not telling you guys that, you're going to be a success overnight. I'm not telling you that my results are typical. I'm telling you they're not. I'm telling you that trading is hard. So I think you want to look for an educator that at least approaches it from that perspective, and do what you want. I don't care if you don't want to learn from me, don't learn from me. It really doesn't make a difference. I mean, you can learn from whoever you want. I'm happy to have you learn from me. I think it makes sense to at least learn from someone who's proven profitable. And I'm not the only one. I'm not going to say that I'm the only one who's a profitable trader who's also doing educational content. I'm not. But this industry, we have seen there's a lot of people out there who have given all of us a bad name, and then puts all of us under the microscope. And we're all being, I think, held at this point to a standard that I'm not really sure where it comes from. It feels like a very difficult standard. It's my job to show you that the gains that I've made are real. I have to. And that's part of protecting you as a consumer. So that the person you're learning from is credible, is qualified, knows what the heck they're talking about. And, I'm not going to name names on the people that have been called out for, paper trading or fake trading or whatever, or just straight up lying. You can, I'm not the type of person that throws stones like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you that I've been in this industry for long enough that I know that this is something that has happened, and I'm sure we'll see it happen again. So, the big flaw with the educational system for traders is that there's a lot of people selling education, and a lot of it's not qualified, a lot of it's not credible. And, the few people that are selling education that is, that they're actually qualified, credible traders, which is really important. They all have to go above and beyond, out of their way, to remind you that trading is risky, that our results, for those of us who have found success, are not typical, and that no one has ever been successful without a tremendous amount of hard work and a little bit of luck. This is a hard thing to get good at. But I don't think that's anything different than if you were going to try to open a coffee shop, or if you were going to try to go and get into the shampoo and conditioner business. Think about what his overhead's going to be like to get loaded up with all the supplies for shampoo and conditioner. He's going to cost of goods sold. He's going to have to get the jars. He's going to have the factory. He's going to have the raw materials. I mean, that's like crazy. So I'm sure they get good margins when they, when they sell at a premium price, which artisanal conditioners could sell at. But, running a business is hard. But
here's the thing, and I'm going to throw this out there. I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to take risk and to fail, because I feel like if you never have a failure, it means you didn't push yourself hard enough. You didn't take enough risks. You have to fail. You have to be okay with falling down. When I was on the ski team, when I was up in New Hampshire on ski team in high school, I would push myself super hard and I would fall. I would wipe out, I'd go flying across the mountain. And that meant that I was pushing myself, that I was at the very edge of my comfort zone. I do the same thing with my trading. I trade big, I go aggressive, I wipe out. I have losses. That happens. With business, I've tried different things. Some things have worked. We've tried different products. We've tried conferences. We've tried all these different things. And some things work and some things don't. So it doesn't matter whether you're a trader, whether you're an athlete, whether you're in business. Life is not without risk. Well, I guess you can create a bubble for yourself that's so small that perhaps you're taking off a lot of risk, but I don't feel like that's the right way to live. And again, I'm totally happy with talking anyone out of trading. Like this isn't, I'm talking about trading education, I'm talking about trading things, but I'm also perfectly happy to talk you out of trading. It's not for everyone. It is hard, and but same with someone's mentioning real estate and tenants who are a pain in the butt, right? Yeah, real estate's hard. A lot of people are selling real estate and they're making it sound like it's super, super easy. But listen, you've got a lot of liability as a realtor, and with COVID and everything, couldn't even get rid of a bad tenant who's not paying. So real estate is not, nothing is easy. There's no such thing as easy. And if you want to learn the real estate game, you're probably well advised to go try to learn from someone who knows what they're doing, who's really, really good at it, and get as close as you can. So if my other son tells me that he really wants to be a realtor, then I would try to encourage him to get an internship with a realtor, right? That's what it's all about. And does that realtor have to tell my son that his results are not typical and this and that? Maybe he does. Maybe he should. I don't know. But you want to get as close as you can to someone who's doing what you want to do. And so, that's sort of the thing on the trading side where, to me, that's why it's important that beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the person you're learning from is the real deal. Because otherwise, you're just going to have this question of all this time I'm spending, learning what works for them. Okay, maybe their results are not typical, but if I can't understand something and someone else is actually doing it, then I have to look back on myself and be like, okay, is this an aptitude issue? Is this a software issue? Is this a skill issue? What's the disconnect? Now, you could tell me in theory, Ross, if you want to be an aerial jumper, the people on skis that go like in circles or whatever, this is what you got to do. You could tell me every step you have to take to do it. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm never going to be able to do that. That's not my thing. I'm not going to feel comfortable taking the risk. I'm never going to be able to do it. And I'm sure you could go sign up to a course on how to do aerial ski jumping, but that's not going to help me because I know in my heart that I couldn't do it. And so, one of the things that I always encourage is, for you guys to practice in a simulator before you put real money on the line, practice in safe environments, try to put as little risk on the table when you're getting started so you can learn as early as possible if this is not a good fit for you. And then you can jump back out and get onto something else, right? So, we have a dropout period that a lot of our students take advantage of. It's for very specific classes, so you already know about that if you're in it. But for some of the students that join those classes, they have a dropout period, and it gives them a chance to see, is this a good fit for me or not? And so, by the way, on the TED Talk, I would encourage you guys to check that out because I went into, I was in front of my computer, I had the charts up. We did a lot of very trading specific stuff during that TED Talk. I was talking about how I would learn how to trade if I was starting over today or tomorrow. So you should check that out. Also, during that TED Talk, I show my audited trading records. So you can see right there on the screen, it's a PDF, and I just showed it to you. Like these are the audited trading records of how I've done. And of course, I reminded everyone who was there that in case you didn't already know, my results are not typical. and even right now, like I'm not sharing with you how much money I make right now. I'm not, because it's that right now doesn't really matter. I'm talking high level, but you guys know this is risky stuff. Trading is risky, and my results are not typical. So one of the things, for us, and we've always said this, is that we don't track the typical result of traders using our software. We don't have access to their broker statements. We're an educational software company. And so we're not going to make any guarantee that you're going to find success. We make no guarantees. Now, if you want a guarantee, I'm sure you can find someone out there who's going to sell you a guarantee. They'll tell you what you want to hear, but I'm never going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to tell it to you like it is, and it's the truest thing you're probably ever going to hear a trader say. This is hard. Most people don't find success. All right? That's the real deal. But if you want to learn, I'm happy to teach you. I'm happy to give you the opportunity to learn as much as you can from me. But you just have to know for real that this is hard. So you have to assess within yourself whether or not this is a good fit. So you have to ask yourself whether or not you have the aptitude to do something that's this hard. And, there's, I'm sure, instructors out there that could teach me aerial ski jumping or whatever. And I have to ask myself, real deal, can I do this? How bad do I want it? And that's ambition is a big part of it, because, there's a lot of things out there that are really hard. Getting healthy is really hard. Exercising, eating better is really hard. And it can be hard to have the motivation and the ambition to do some of these things. And some people, for whatever reason, the cards are stacked against them. We're all dealt a different hand of cards. I was dealt a hand of cards where, my dad was sick, basically, he was not healthy pretty much my entire life. And then he passed away when I was young. And, that was a shitty hand of cards to be dealt. At the same time, people have been dealt much worse and have become far more successful than I'll ever become. So it's not about, how good or how bad of a hand you get. It's about how you deal with it. It's about how you play the hand that you're given. And I've tried to play the hand as well as I've been able to. And, that's the best you can do. So, when it comes to trading, it's asking yourself some really honest questions about, do I have the aptitude for this? Do I have the ambition? Am I motivated? Do I actually want to make this happen? This is not something that you can do like, 5 minutes a day. Like this isn't, I don't know what you even could do for 5 minutes a day, but it'd be the same thing with like, oh, here's this exercise regimen that you can do 5 minutes a day and you'll have a 6-pack. Yeah, okay, I'm sure a lot of people would buy that, but for real, I don't think so. So, anyways, I was just really thinking about this a lot over the last, few weeks. I was just thinking about this whole trading educator thing, and hey, I see people all the time who, will say, Ross, if you were really such a good trader, you wouldn't be teaching. Therefore, you're a liar. Your profits that you put on the website, I don't believe them. You're a liar. And I don't know what to tell that person other than, obviously, I put my broker statements on the website. They are real. My audit is real. And, I think it's insulting to think that just because someone is successful that they wouldn't want to teach. The real truth, it's a huge like boost for me. Every time, every single one of you who are tuned in right now watching this makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so good sharing with you the things that I've learned, and actually having traders and just people in general be like, the things that you have told me, like this is like connects with me so much, or this has really helped me when I've been thinking about hard points in my life or decisions that I've had to make. Like it's like like I get high on that. I love it. And so, that's me. I like being in front of the camera. I like being able to tell you this, and have these moments. I took 45, 50 minutes out of my day here on a Saturday to do this because this makes me feel good. I'm going to carry this with me for the rest of the day. So, I can make money trading, but it doesn't even give me that same good feeling that this gives me, this connection that I have to you guys, this community that I've created. So, for me, like when I go on vacation, I want to trade and teach every single day. I don't want to just trade by myself. I don't want to just teach. I want to do them both. I love doing it. And, that's me. And I'm not the only one that shares that. There's a lot of people that really love that. Part of their passion is the fact that they're really good at something and they're able to share it. For someone like me who grew up with really low self-esteem, finding something that I was good at, so good at that people want to learn from me, like that makes me feel incredible. It makes me feel so good. So, maybe I still have low self-esteem and you guys are just making me feel better about myself, but that's my truth. And it does make me feel good. So I keep doing it. And there's going to be haters no matter what you do. And if you haven't found a couple of haters, you haven't pushed yourself hard enough. You're not out there enough. And so, that's part of getting out there. And, if you go on YouTube and you make a YouTube video comparing, the Sony 6400 to the 6300, someone's going to be like, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. You're so stupid. People are so brave behind their computer screen. And it doesn't matter. Like, you see this on people doing camera reviews with affiliate marketing or doing, sneaker reviews. It's just, that's what comes with this internet economy. That's part of it too. And so you have to just be able to brush that off and just, let it go. And I try to as much as I can so I can keep doing the things that I love. I love trading, I love teaching, and I'm going to keep doing it. And so anyways, there's definitely a big flaw in the trading education system. And I wish that everyone in this industry gave all of us a good name by being, really stand up with having broker statements on their website. And, if they're going to make big claims, being able to back them up. And I do. And a few other people do, but not many, unfortunately. And where we, have been told we have room for improvement is by reminding people again and again and again, hey, trading is risky. This is risky. And those of us who have found success, whether it was luck or whatever it was, those results are not typical. So take it slow. Trade in a simulator before you put real money on the line. There is no guarantee that you'll be successful, whether you learn from me or you're just out there on your own. But you shouldn't have the assumption that I'm going to learn from this guy and it's going to give me an advantage. It's going to make me more successful, because we can't back that up. We don't tell you that, and we certainly don't tell you that. But now we need to explicitly tell you that trading is hard. So take it slow. So I encourage you, if you're thinking about learn from someone who's putting it all out there, telling you it like it is. That's the type of person you want to learn from. So I encourage you, if you want to keep learning, check out my TED Talk. You can replay it today or whenever. You can replay it whenever. During the TED Talk, I mentioned that we were trying to hit a minimum enrollment for our classes for the month ahead. So there was a special link that traders who were in that TED Talk could use to join. You're welcome to use that if you want to. We wanted to extend that. We did hit our minimum enrollment. We're going to keep that special link there as long as we have that TED Talk up. So anyone who watches the talk, loves it, and decides they want to learn from me and actually use my software and work with me, we'd love to have you. One of the things that's been important for me, which I think you guys know, my whole attitude has been like, if I make money, reinvest it, whether it's with trading or it's with the business. And so on the business side, the money that I've made, I've reinvested. This is a software company now. I had a development team that is building and maintaining the software that I've built, and I use it every single day. But it's the same software that everyone that's a member at Warrior is using. So, that's kind of been for me, like, this whole thing with trading is so niche that when I got started, there wasn't, the things that I felt were needed didn't exist. And so it gave me this opportunity to start to build those things and create those things, being able to teach and everything else. I've been able to sort of fuel that back into the business and keep growing it. And so, you can look at videos that I made 5 years ago. The strategy, everything else, it's the same. I've been saying the same stuff for years. It's the same strategy, it's the same setup, the thing now is the tools are getting better and better. And part of that is because of people like me who are investing in building those tools out. So, you know, that's one of the things that's been really exciting on the Warrior side is our commitment to building out tools. They're for my benefit because I use them, but they obviously benefit so many people. So, yeah, that's something I'm really proud of. And different people have different opinions on it. You know, some people just, you know, they just are teaching just to make as much money as they can and take that money out and go buy that Ferrari and, you know, do a private jet and take pictures. And I think that's the thing that I hate, because that's where it gets into people who are selling you a lifestyle. And I don't buy into that. I'm not selling you a lifestyle. I'm never going to do that. I'll sell you a dog. All right. I think I hear my little buddy coming back out. Hello? Hi. So, what do you think about soap and conditioner? Tell me, what is it that you love about soap and conditioner? It's so soft. It makes your skin soft. Hey, buddy. And what about you? My future real estate agent? All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'll see you back at it here. Maybe I'll come live at some point tomorrow. I'm gonna go bring the kids down to the aquarium, and we're gonna do some fun stuff. But in any case, if you want to check out the TED Talk, you're welcome to. You have comments, you think that I'm an idiot, post whatever you want, and I'll see you guys back at it here first thing Monday morning for the morning show. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate it. See ya.